Okay, just waiting for the stream. Okay, stream is back up. Okay, so... Well, we're gonna just talk back over what we already talked about. So, back to the Nuffles Disciples versus the Lustrian Slayers.
Yeah. Tough match for the brand new Lizard coach. But hey, we appreciate that we have a new Lizard coach in the div. So more games.
Yeah, very excited to see our 10th player join, so... That's definitely nothing to scoff at. Like we said previously, this was a ridiculously high CAS game for the elves.
Yeah, they just went off on the armor dice. What did we say? 42% armor.
Yeah.
For the Lizards, that's not what you expect from AB9. And there were Saurus getting KO'd in CAS in this. It wasn't just Skinks getting beat up. It was Saurus too. So
Interesting to note, both teams actually had exactly 42% armor. However, most of the Lizard removals were KOs, not injuries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A ton of SPP, though. The Lizards got a fair amount. Not as much as they would have liked, obviously, but the Elves continue to just rack up an insane amount. Thinking the tree definitely helped in this one, just by taking some punches.
Yeah, absolutely. And if Nuffle's disciples can just PM me and let me know what they're sacrificing to Nuffle, I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, back to Becky and the Jerks and the Brute Squad. So this was a game where the Orcs just... I mean, for the most part, they weren't really hurting things, but their actual just playing the game was on point.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Just 2 CAS, not a huge number. 2 CAS aside, well, 2 CAS and a kill for Becky and the Jerks,
but decent SPP for both teams. There was quite a few, I believe, vanity passes. Oh, just one. One vanity pass, never mind.
Yep.
But unfortunately, the troll got removed on turn 1 or 2, and then once you lose the troll, it's very difficult to outstrength an orc team.
Yep, absolutely. That troll went out immediately on turn 2, failed its regen, and you're left with just some goblins and rats to fight the big bad orcs.
Which is definitely not what you want. However, it was good SPP on both sides. We did see a blitzer level there.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be good for the Becky and the Jerks. And then we have NFL Egypt versus the Joy Boys. And this was a very punchy game.
Yep. The NFL Egypt put on just a Kimry clinic of knocking guys over and picking up the ball perfectly every time. So just an excellent game from the Kimry here.
For sure. But at least the Joy Boys, they may have only come out with 7, but it was 7 great SPP, and they did get 2 levels out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, aside from Tentacles being useless and Regen being a lie, and yeah.
And I don't want to pick on Whacked Mackie too much, but I am going to out him here. He did forget to score on turn 16. This would have been a 2-0 game.
Oh!
But in his zeal, clicked intern a little bit early.
Oh, no!
And cost him a level up on his throw raw.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
That's brutal.
Remember, folks, don't hit end turn before you score. Okay, down to the Mighty Blowjays versus the Furry-Footed Freaks, and surprising no one, Chaos won.
Yep, Chaos getting it done.
One thing I will say is that Chaos got very few blocks, 23 blocks. However, of those 23 blocks, they got 7 removals.
I mean, you see, the tricky thing here is when you remove everything, it's hard to get a high number of blocks.
When all you have left to punch is trees, it becomes really difficult.
Yeah, it really does. The touchdown from the Furry-Footed Freaks was another throw teammate play, which I love to see.
Oh, yeah. So one thing I will note is that the furry-footed freak sustained 3 KOs and 7 casualties plus a death. So there was clearly some throw-related casualties.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Does it show how many throw teammate plays? Yeah, there were 6 throws of the teammate.
Oh, and 2 failed. And of those 2 that failed, how many landings? 3 failed landings. So I'm thinking that's what we saw there.
Yeah, absolutely. But
oddly enough, the block dice for the Chaos team were fairly balanced, but they had 13 POWs, and those POWs all came when he needed them.
mm-hmm.
And a lot of the players got hit, didn't come back up. We did see a halfling level, and I believe there was either 2 or 3 levels from the Mighty Blowjays in this game. Crazy amount of SPP for the Chaos.
Yeah, this is the dream game for Chaos, just getting tons of SPP.
Yep. Yeah, we're talking 21 SPP in a game. That is huge. And last but not least is the REL Hushlut Marauders versus We're Slaying 'em. And completely contrary to what I thought was going to happen, somehow the Necro lost.
Yeah, it was a bit surprising, and I think this was a bit of a tough game for wait, hold my beer.
I mean, 60 blocks being thrown by the Chorfs and a bunch of really early removals pretty much spelled it for the Necro.
Yeah. One injury inflicted by the Necro, 0 KOs. And this is throwing blocks with claw. Like, what was the armor rate for?
So the armor rate for We're Slaying Him was 72%, and the armor rate for the REL Hushlut Marauders was 89. 3 fails out of 28.
So that's some strong armor dice from the Chorf coach.
Yep. There was a fireball thrown at the We're Slaying Him, and it hit 6 people, and 4 of them were successes.
Man.
I believe Grandview King was telling me about this, how unfortunately he was grouped up, and the fireball it either knocked people out or just laid them out, and it completely ruined his whole half.
That's
and then
tough.
He wasn't really able to recover.
That is a bit of a nuclear fireball there. That, you can't expect it to get that much done, but wow.
Regen was on point, though. Both people regenerated. So there is that.
All right. There's that. Yeah. No permanent damage to the team.
No permanent damage. So I guess we're going to go over to the leaderboard now. And the current uncontested leader is Rar with the Mighty Blowjays.
Yeah, Rarar's looking really good and undefeated. Can't beat that.
Hot on his heels, though, are the Nuffle Disciples and the Brute Squad. And, I mean, realistically, not that far behind him is Wait Hold My Beer with We're Slaying Him. And also the REL Hushlut Marauders from Atomic Grunt.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, even Becky and the Jerks, like, we're talking 9 points to 7 points to the next 2, and then 6, 6, 4. Not that far behind.
Yep.
Still lots of games to go, so it's still almost. I mean, I don't think we're going to see the Halflings win, but
Yeah, it's tough for the Flings after that start, but it's tough for the Flings in general, anyways.
I think, unfortunately for the Lizards, because they inherited the record of the person they took, coming in 0-0-3 means they're not super likely to win the division.
No, but for a Lizard team, just getting a good season of development is all you can really ask for.
It's true.
Those Saurus are painfully slow to level, but they're so good once they get a little bit of development.
Oh yeah, once you can get a bunch of your Saurus developed, Lizards are a very tough team to compete with, regardless of what team you are. Even Claw, I mean, it's still difficult to push around 7 people who are strength 4 or higher.
Absolutely, especially once you get some blocking guard in there to just, gum things up, make it real tough to take those hits. So that's I think if I'm the Lizard coach, that's what I'm looking for. I want to get some source development this season and come out strong next season.
For sure. I guess we're gonna go move on to the teams. So first up is the Brute Squad from Gunner 23. Definitely see a death there. The death just appears to be a lineman though. Or wait, no, hold on. Did he have a thrower?
I think he did.
I think we're down a thrower.
Let me see if I can quickly take a peek at that.
We do, however, now have a Blodge Blitzer. So that's nothing to scoff at.
No, Blodge Blitzers are fantastic for orcs. Once you get to Blodge Guard, that piece just becomes so good. He can get where he needs to be, and he's a pain to knock down.
I mean, honestly, if I had a thrower and my thrower died, I wouldn't rehire him at this point. Not with a Movement 7 Blitzer. And a Blodge Blitzer. Like, you have 2 ball carriers right there. Leave the AV8 guy in the dead pile where he belongs.
Yep, I think I agree.
The whole strength of the Orc team is just the AV9 across the board. Until you hit Claw, these guys are basically invincible. And even once you hit Claw, I mean, there's only so many Claw pieces.
Yeah, we're showing an Agi busted thrower in the previous.
Yeah, that would be a Firen.
He was just a sure hands pass thrower. I think you let that guy go.
Oh yeah, you let that guy go.
Yep.
Other than that, though, still an excellently solid start. I mean, we have a double and a movement boost. Sorry, 2 doubles and a movement boost out of the levels. 2 level 2 black, or sorry, yeah, 2 level 2 black orcs. One of them's actually within MVP range, level 3, which is excellent. And one of them is 5 of 6.
Yep, so anything he gets done levels up Joe Greenskin.
Yep, so all in all, this team is looking quite excellent. I wouldn't mind seeing Wa agreeing Sap leveling to get DP. I just love having DP. But all in all, pretty damn good start for the Orcs. Moving on to Nuffle's Disciples from Holing. What do we have from this lineman here? Is it just Miss game? Yep. So he only has 1 lineman left. All the rest are dead or missing the next game. But it is a kick lineman, so that's really the only lineman worth protecting.
Right. Do you continue buying linemen here, or do you just save up for the 3rd reroll, or what do you think?
I personally would save up for the reroll. I really hate the fact that Nuffle Angel took the last MVP. Because that's just a regular niggled catcher.
Yeah.
But I guess at the end of the day, a niggled catcher is still a good player.
Yeah, you almost want to let that one go before he gets developed, but at the same time, it's a movement 8 Agi 4. You don't expect it to get hit, hopefully, too often. But
yeah. And the other niggled player is the War Dancer, who, I mean, he still does his job excellently well. Just, sooner or later he's going to die. You just don't give him Apo rights anymore.
Absolutely.
One of the best parts about War Dancers is even if you lose a War Dancer, a rookie War Dancer is still a Blodge leap piece.
Yes, absolutely.
So they're still excellent at doing basically any job you want.
Yeah, level 1 War Dancers are pretty much fine. And you can kind of afford to even cycle them if they don't roll something special in their first couple of levels. So even if that guy doesn't die, he gets to his next level and doesn't roll anything special. If you got the money, maybe you just get a new War Dancer and see if the next one's better.
Oddly enough, in the last game, the tree took a single block. He made 5 blocks. Okay, that's weird. He did 2 injuries, but no actual casualties. So the tree was actually kind of on point. 1 KO, 2 stuns. It's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
He mostly just stood there as a good roadblock. This is still an excellent team. There's nothing really bad to say about it, aside from I'm not a huge fan of the niggled catcher.
Yeah, I agree. And the great thing about Wood Elves is I've seen Wood Elf teams with like 6 elves that were still excellent teams, so you don't have to worry too much about losing some of those
I mean, that's the
linemen or
thing.
whatever.
Like, next game, you have 3 loners. It just means you have 3 guys you can put on the LOS and not care about.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't cost you any money.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, you can still do stuff with a Movement 7 Agi4 player.
Yep.
And I guess we're going to move on to Becky and the Jerks from Rock Lobstrosity.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, the troll went out early, which was huge deal because, I mean, that's the claw piece.
And that is the titular Becky that went out immediately. So
I will say that now we have a thrower at 13 of 16 and a thrower at 5 of 6. So, as well as a lineman at 3 of 6 and a lineman at 2 of 6. So, we're probably, like, there's so much SPP just scattered across this team. Like, every player has SPP except a single goblin.
mm-hmm. Like the next MVP is nearly guaranteed to level something.
Yep. And all in all, not a bad start. I mean, we already have the Claw Mighty Blow from the Warpstone Troll. We have the Mighty Blow Blitzer, who just needs 2 Kaz or a touchdown and a throw or an MVP or whatever to get Claw.
Yep.
And we almost have a level 3 thrower.
Yeah, so development is coming along nicely on those pieces. So look forward to seeing them.
I mean, for a Season 1 team that's this few games in, this team actually has a lot of SPP on it.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And it's SPP in the right places.
Yep. Hopefully we'll see a level 3 Blitzer soon.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about all to say about that. I guess we're going to move on to Whack Mackie.
Yep.
And the NFL Egypt. And unfortunately, when we look at Joe Montuna, unfortunately, we only see 4 of 6, not 7 of 6.
Yeah, that's too bad. But the good news is Rob Brady leveled up and picked up Mighty Blow.
The one thing I will say is that these 2 Tomb Guardians are just excellent pieces.
Oh, yeah.
The unfortunate thing is that the other 2 Tomb Guardians are now kind of falling behind, because now they're nowhere near as reliable as the other 2.
Yeah, not at all. So you end up using Rob Brady and Jerry Rices?
I'm not actually sure how
to
to
do
pronounce
everything. Yeah. Those players having block and just being reliable, you end up just using those way more than your other 2 players.
For sure. But, I mean, this is an excellent start for a Tomb King team. I don't think you could ever complain about having a Blodge Blitzra and 2 block Tomb Guardians in, like, your first 6 games.
Yeah, your first 3 levels were all doubles. That's fantastic.
Yep. I'm assuming next game we're probably going to see the thrower level, and I would love to see some SPP on Charles Wadjet.
Mm-hmm.
We really need either a Mighty Blow Blitzra, or a Tackle Blitzra.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Picking up Mighty Blow on a couple more pieces as soon as possible is going to be fantastic for this team. Just that little edge on getting a few more removals.
But all in all, an excellent start for the Tomb Kings for their SPP with the way it's been hitting.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I guess next up is the Furry-Footed Freaks from Geek Chef. Just halflings getting punched up, I guess. Oh, we do have some SPP on treatment now, though.
All right.
One of them is just 1 Kaz away, and one is 2 Kaz away, so that's pretty decent. I would love to see some
absolutely.
block trees.
Block trees. If you
Grab.
roll a double on a tree, what's your pick?
I think if I rolled a double, I'm taking block.
Yeah. What's your second double on a tree?
That's tough. I mean, there's a lot of skills that would be just beautiful to have, and I don't know if you can say no to a blodge tree.
Oh, a blodge tree would be pretty neat.
Like a blodge firm tree is just a nightmare.
I just wonder if you ever go just full meme and get pass.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but especially considering how often this guy one turns.
Yep. Pass with strong arm, it makes it pretty likely to get those throws, and not just the one turns, but also just the throw teammate plays for position and carnage.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. One thing I will say is that he has not been rolling well on his income. He's
Yeah,
unfortunately taking attrition, and he's just not getting the money to replace them.
yeah, that's the thing. You just need to roll decently to keep up with your flings because they are super cheap, but you have to you need a 6 here and there to replace 2.
For sure. And next game, he is going in with loners, which isn't
That's gonna be
necessarily a bad thing. But I mean, this is one of those teams where you kind of want a bench.
yeah. The loners don't matter too much. It's the lack of bench that can be an issue. Although with the team value here, probably going to have max star players, so there'll still be a bench in effect to some
That is
extent.
true, yeah. Also, Grandview King noted that on a double he would take pro.
Okay,
I could see
that's a
that.
good skill. It's boring, but
I mean, one thing about Treeman is that on the halfling team is that they're very reliable. There's no loner.
yeah.
There is take root, which is unfortunate, but other than that, they're fairly reliable. They don't typically turn over a lot.
Right.
But other than that, all we have so far for levels is catch and sidestep, so not really a whole lot to talk on the advancement front.
Yep. All right,
Next
then.
up, we're going to go to We're Slaying 'em.
Who did not slay them? You got to slay those shorps. Come on, man.
He did not slay them. We have a ghoul. A ghoul has entered the building.
David the Shovel Spade. All right.
I mean, we still have great SPP allotment on this team. This white is just taking all of the SPP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so is this DP zombie, but not much you can do about that. If he takes MVPs, he takes MVPs.
Yeah.
Oh, and on the bye week, he took a touchdown.
Oh, come on now.
Yep.
Admins, you're doing them wrong.
I know, right? But other than that, it's still a great start. Sam Skinningson is still only 1 touchdown from leveling and becoming a pretty terror. I mean, he's just fishing for doubles at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you don't get a double, I mean, get dodge on that guy, and he's just an ace player.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the thing about Wolves is even if they don't get the doubles that seem to come out for every Necro coach in REL, they're still great players, even
They
with just
are.
all normals.
I mean, you're still talking general agility access.
Yeah, so blodge step, maybe some tackle, you know, whatever you want. It's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, we definitely still want to see, hopefully, some SPP go to these poor flesh golems. They're languishing here a little bit.
Yeah, fleshies are just real hard to get off the ground, especially the longer it goes. It seems you will have a larger team, more of a bench, less likely to get MVPs to land there. But hopefully they'll catch some lucky Kaz or some lucky MVPs.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure if I agree with the ghoul this early. I don't know. I don't think I would take one yet.
Yeah, I don't think you quite need it yet.
I think I'd rather just
cash,
see a zombie just to build up the bench a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, realistically, you want to focus all your touchdowns on either these werewolves or these whites, the regen players, basically.
Yep.
I just don't trust ghouls to live.
Not until they get like Blodgefin's sidestep, and then maybe.
Yeah. But again, this team still has excellent SPP on it. Stephen White is just going to keep racking in the SPP by the looks of it.
Yep. More likely than not.
Yep. And
hopefully a touchdown on the Wolf will get something done.
Yeah. And hopefully we're going to see a Kaz or something on Grave Robin Williams so that we get a block Flesh Golem, which would be nice.
Mm-hmm. Reliable pillar piece.
Oh, you want Sure Hands for Woodies. That's why they're cool.
Yeah, I can see that.
When do you fight the Woodies?
Let's go.
I'm just curious. When does he fight the Woodies?
So, We're Slaying Them fights the Woodies on... It's a while. Nuffle's Disciples is week 8.
Oh, okay. Yeah, week 8 should be long enough to get block Sure Hands.
I don't think you need more than 2 games to get Sure Hands. Block Sure Hands, yeah, that makes sense. 4 games to get 16, you can do that.
Yeah. Okay, and then next up we're going to look at the REL Hushlet Marauders. Not really a whole lot to say about this team, aside from the fact that Markin Livingtongue is taking all of the SPP. All of it.
Yep. And will likely continue to happen.
Yep. 4 SPP from level 4, which is pretty intense, actually. But unfortunately, it is costing the team a lot of development.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he needs some of the other Chorfs to get some skills to support him. He needs some guard support and
Really needs some guard
things. Yeah, desperately.
I mean, one of these guys at 2 of 6, like, they really need either an MVP or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
This guy has taken 3 MVPs, though, from the team. And caused 6 casualties. So that's why he has so much experience.
Yeah, he's definitely doing some work, but...
Hopefully we'll see a touchdown on Lorem Heb Burnfoot so he can level.
Yep.
Definitely want to see those guys get some more SPP on them. Other than that, not a whole lot to talk about from the SPP front. We have 2 Hobgoblins that are a single SPP from leveling.
Yeah, I would throw a Vanity Pass on one of those, yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely throw a Vanity Pass on one, get some DP. Oh, apparently Grandview minus AV'd the Palmer, but the Apo decided it would be badly hurt instead.
Yeah, as he is wont to do.
I will note that the Chorf team in my own division, which is 5B, looked very similar to this team, and he actually lost his player, which is pretty equivalent to Markham Livingtongue this week, which was like 60 SPP down the drain. And it's the huge danger to having all your SPP on one player. If that player goes out, you're in serious trouble.
That's the one that Goblin Marine killed with the Underworld team, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Yep.
I mean that's one thing about Chorfs. Like, if you can't build up your guard now, you're gonna have a seriously difficult time dealing with Claw.
Yeah, for sure. And just getting a little bit of guard starts to enable, because the Chorfs want to move in kind of that Chorf line down the pitch, and having that guard just enables the chain blocks down the line.
Yeah.
So you will just increase your speed of leveling if you can get that guard up.
Oh yeah. Okay, and next up is the Mighty Blowjays from Rar, the current division leader. Got some pretty serious progression on this team so far. Every single Chaos Warrior has SPP. The lowest is 7. I will note that the Block Warrior that we told him to give Block 2 first is at 10 now.
Yep.
So he's done some stuff. We have a Sure Hands Block Beastman. And what are these? Are these just Miss Next games? Yep.
And I believe that Dirty Daryl Dangles picked up block this week, and I can't remember if the other Mighty Blow First. I think he's fresh to block too. So I think both of these warriors.
I think both leveled
Mighty
this
Blow
week.
Only leveled this week. Yeah, so that's a huge development for this team.
I think Dirty Daryl got 12 SPP this week. 10.
Yeah,
he got 10. 10 SPP.
10. That's a week.
Yeah, that's huge. So this team is just looking excellent. I mean, what else is there really to say? I mean, granted, I would love to see Amanda, I guess, get block
Mm-hmm. Or wrestle.
or wrestle. Actually, wrestle tackle would be nice to see.
Yep.
I mean, one thing about Chaos is that realistically the Warriors aren't that much slower than Beastmen, unlike Nurgle where it's a 2-speed difference.
Yeah.
So you can actually theoretically have a killer who is a warrior and not be really slow.
Yeah, that is the really nice thing about Chaos is like all your players are kind of equally great. The Chaos Warriors are a little bit better because Strength 4 is just, better than Horns, AV9's better than AV8, but all in all, like all your players have the potential to be superstars.
But just an amazing start, and this team just murders whoever it gets up against.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So go rah.
Okay, and next up we have the Nurgle of the division, which is Joy Boys, coached by Tobogganhawk. So, luckily this week he did get 2 good levels. We have the Beast who leveled up and a Nurgle Warrior. So not a lot of SPP, but excellently placed.
Yeah. Those are great levels to have. So I'm excited to see what they are. More than likely, it'll be block on the Nurgle Warrior, and probably just like a guard on the Beast of Nurgle. If you listen to some people like the True Blue, they like stand firm first, but I like guard.
I feel like if it's a normal, I'd take guard because this team really needs guard right now because there's a bunch of punchy teams in this division, especially now that you have lizards, that
Yep.
you're really going to need the extra strength bonus to help, and you can't go guard first on Nurgle Warrior.
That is absolutely true.
I mean, you can, but it's not a good idea.
Yeah, it's a painful path to leveling that guard warrior.
So I think assuming both are normals, I would expect to see guard on the beast and block on the warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Which in turn would give this team 3 block pieces, which is pretty reliable.
Yep. And maybe you get fortunate here and get block on the Beast of Nurgle. That would be fantastic.
For sure. I think at this point, I would just be saving all my cash, though, until I can get that sweet, sweet third team reroll.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, just get some kills to get some free rotters. If not, you just deal with the loners.
Yeah, you just take the loner rotter. They're fine. Throw them on the line, do whatever with them, make them give assists.
I would definitely be trying to feed touchdowns to Sweetheart, because you definitely want the other Pestigore to also have most likely block.
Yep, for sure.
Or wrestle, either or. I guess at this point you probably want both to have block, because you realistically want to build one into a killer and one into a ball carrier.
Yeah. Yeah, you can really go either way.
But not a terrible start. I mean, could definitely be worse for Nurgle. Early Nurgle, just it's awful.
Yeah, it's real hard to feed like touchdowns or anything to the Nurgle Warriors with the Agi 2 and the Movement 4. So,
yep.
So
oddly enough,
it's
not the Agi 2 that's the big deal with it. It's the Movement 4.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, Agi 4 is only a 4+ to catch, so it's not the worst. But getting them to the end zone is awful.
Yep. For sure. You have to start that whole movement up the pitch a full turn sooner than you have to as, Chaos or many other teams.
I think my Nurgle team, after 16 games, I have a single Nurgle Warrior touchdown, and it just kind of landed in his hands, and he was near the end zone.
Yeah, that's usually how that works out.
Yep.
Nurgle Warrior touchdowns are born of like broken blitz plays and crazy things.
Oh yeah. And last, gotta skip the admin team. We have a Lizards. The Lustrian Slayers from Terrandal. So, everyone welcome Terrandal to your division.
Yep. And good SPP landing on Losaurus. So good MVP and a random Kaz, quote unquote random Kaz for the other.
Wait, There's no Croxagore on this team.
There is not. And I think that's just because he started 3 rerolls and opted not to take the Crocs.
Oh, that's a painful start though, because now it's like, do you go for the Apo or do you save up for the Crocs?
I think you have to get the Apo because you can't
Yeah,
afford to lose Saurus.
I would buy the
Um,
Apo.
yeah,
I think it's painful to not have the Crocs at first, but I guess if you want the second reroll, it's certainly a way to go.
yeah. I've seen this build done and seen it done successfully. It is a tough road, and you do want to get to that Crocs, so you hope for good money rolls for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. I think basically the only choice here is to buy the Apo and then just save up for the Crocs.
Yep,
Because a
for
Crocs
sure.
is what, 120?
140, I believe.
140. Oof, that's going to be a while.
Yep.
Not a whole lot else to say about this team. They've only played a single game, but hopefully will level up next game, which would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I think these are just default names.
Yeah, they are. I, since he's coming in and filling in for us, I appreciate it. I wasn't going to give him a hard time for the default names, but
And what Grandview King says is pretty true. Like, if you're down TV, one thing about Lizards is they have quite possibly the best star player in the game in the hands of Sibley.
yeah, for sure. Slibley is the best.
Such a good player. And I guess we're going to move on to the schedule for week 4.
And interesting point to talk about. We actually have the ELO predictions from Rebel.net to go along with our schedule predictions here.
Oh,
So we
do
can
we?
talk about those at the same time. Yeah. So we've got the Lustrian Slayers versus the Furry Footed Freaks. And the ELO predictions, we have the Lustrian Slayers with a 954 and the Furry Footed Freaks with a 865. And that comes out to a split of 57% for the Lizards, 42% for the Halflings.
That's pretty decent, actually.
Yeah. Interesting call. So what do you think?
So I think I would probably... It's a tough call. I want to say I favor the Lizards in this matchup, but the lack of block, combined with the lack of Crocs, might actually make it a bit of a tough sell.
Yeah, they're going to be able to generate some 3-die blocks onto the Flings. And the Flings are not going to get as much inducement money in this matchup as they probably are want to have with those loner Halflings coming in this week.
I think they're only getting like 300k.
Yeah, and they're not at home, so they don't get there. So that probably means no deep root.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Zera plus a Chef.
Yeah. So it'll be an interesting match.
But I think I have to go with the Lustrian Slayers because it's still Lizards versus Halflings. But it could easily go the other way if the trees get a few removals, if the Halflings just don't die. This Halfling team has proved that it is completely willing to try to one-turn.
Mm-hmm.
So we could even see a 2-1 win for the Halflings. But I think most likely it's going to be a 2-1 win for the Lizards.
You know, I think you're pretty accurate there. I'm gonna tip for the Halflings this week just because I want to see a Halfling victory.
Yeah, that's fair. Next up would be NFL Egypt versus We're Slangham, who apparently are playing in about 20 minutes.
And I am gonna tune in and watch that match if I'm able to. I'm excited.
So I think in this case, between these two, I'm gonna have to side with the Necro.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's gonna be some pain because those two block Tomb Guard. They're not going down easy.
Nope, not at all.
And there's not a lot of guard on the Necro team.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be difficult to push around 4 strength 5 people.
Yeah, so there is, according to the ELO rankings, there's only a 5-point spread on this match. So it is
Oh, wow.
47% for Egypt and 52% for We're Slaying Them.
However,
So
I also wouldn't be surprised to see a 1-1 draw.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a 1-1 draw. I think it's going to come down to if the Mighty Blue gets off to an early start for the Kimry, because they do kind of outgun the Necro in that match. And if Regen fires for We're Slaying Them, because it's all going to come down to who's up in the second half, I think.
For sure. So next up would be Becky and the Jerks versus the REL Hushlat Marauders. And I think this game basically comes down to, can the Claw Mighty Blow take out all of those Chorfs before the Tackle Mighty Blow piling on Chorf kills everyone?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
However, I think unfortunately for the Underworld, they're just naturally the underdog in this fight.
Yeah, I think so. And the ELO rankings agree. It says 41% to 58% in favor of the Chaos Dwarf team. And I think you're spot on. And I think with the lack of claw that the Underworld team currently has, I think the Chaos Dwarfs are going to take this one down.
I think it's very likely that we're going to see a 1-0 win or a 2-1 grind.
Yep, for sure.
Because I think most likely the Chorf are going to score on their half, and then it's, are there Underworld to score? I guess it depends on who receives first.
Yeah, it really does.
Because the Underworld
in those bashy
really
matchups,
want to
that
score
matters
fast.
so much. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because they might not have the players to live.
Yep, for sure.
Okay, and so who do you think for that match?
For that matchup, I'm definitely tipping for the Chaos Dwarf team.
Okay. And next up is Nuffles Disciples versus the Mighty Blowjays, and this is going to be a game.
Yeah, this is the top of the div battling it out right here.
And it's going to be a very interesting game. I mean, both of them are excellent coaches. Both of them seem to be very aggressive.
Yep. The Mighty Blowjay is also picking up the block on the Sure Hands player in time to face the Strip Ball Dancer.
For sure.
So, yeah, that's going to be a game to watch. I think I've got to tip it to Rar though. I think he's on fire, and I think the Chaos are going to continue to do their thing.
I'm going to have to go against you. I think we're going to see a 2-1 win for the Nuffles Disciples. I think the Elves just have the elfness to pull it out.
Yeah, they absolutely do. If they can get some quick scores in and style on the Chaos a little bit, they definitely have the tools to do it.
But either way, it's going to be a pretty interesting game no matter what.
Yeah, for sure.
Both the teams are also exceptionally violent.
Yeah, I forgot about that. The Elves are surprisingly dangerous.
What does the ELO say for that match?
The ELO says 1096 to 1127. That comes out to a 47% for the Wood Elves, 52% for the Chaos.
Pretty close spread.
Pretty close spread.
The one thing that might hold up the Chaos a bit is that they do have no tackle.
Yeah, this is true.
And there is a tree.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any claw around yet, so the tree can't just get clawed down. They're going to have to manage it other ways.
And then last in the week is the Brutes God versus the Joy Boys.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, as much as I hate to say it, but I'm pretty sure the Orcs are going to win this one.
Yep. And the ELO agrees with you heavily. This is, I think, the most heavily weighted match in the ELO rankings. 65% for the Orcs, 34% for the Joy Boys.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the the Nurgle just doesn't have the skills to compete with Orcs
Mhm.
currently. Orcs are
Yeah.
just such a rough matchup early.
Yeah, absolutely. They have the strength to match up against the Nurgle, and the Nurgle hasn't yet developed to the point to have all the skills it needs. Next season, this is a different match, and the Orcs are terrified. But
For sure.
this season, it's tough for the Nurgle.
I mean, I guess it also depends on what skills did that beast roll. I mean, if we have a block beast, it could be a bit of a game. I'm still gonna have to go with the Orcs, but it would be a much harder game for the Orcs to pull out.
Yeah, yeah,
But
it's definitely
currently,
going to be.
the Orcs just have so much block and a guard piece.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an uphill battle for the Nurgle team. So I think I'd have to tip to the Orcs as well.
Yep. So I guess that'll be it for this week's recap.
All right, good deal.
So thanks for everyone that watched, and have a good one.